Sir, and uh, good afternoon, all the participants there. And today, the afternoon lectures for the next two sessions would be on cyber psychology, an introductory note, because there's a big, vast aspects to be covered in cyber psychology. So, let me start with only a few of the issues which are pertinent to the teachers as well as the students. That's where the focus would be. So why there is a lot of importance because of cyber psychology? Because of late we are seeing a lot of issues related to cyberspace and its use and abuse as well as misuse of what you call cyberspace, where the human mind is what you call acts as a culprit in abuse and the misuse of the cyberspace, and what psychology behind that, which we'll be discussing, and how cyber psychology is useful and how it can be implemented effectively in the later part of our talk. So something very interesting, what we call a cyber psychology. So let me get into a shortest and what you call a cute definition of cyberspace and the psychology. When it comes from the cyber part, it is basically the word has derived from cybernetics. Okay, that means what? You study the operation of control communication systems, but now it's in a very advanced way. When it comes to cyber reality, and like virtual reality and even augmented reality, what we are going to discuss later. Then the second part is the psychology of it, where the study of human behavior or study of behavior of any living organism and related cognitive processes. Remember, when we talk about the cognitive process, it invariably includes how we think, act, and perceive. These three things are the major aspects of cognition. So, when there's an interaction between the cybernetics and the human behavior, then when there is an overlapping of those things, that leads to cyber psychology. So it is not a what you call a ancient field, it's a relatively new field, where when the internet era began, along with the internet, okay, and when it was like very in the primitive stage, the cyber psychology was not developed much because it was only meant for communication system. But today what has happened is there's a lot of what you call a advancement in the digital platform, and this digital platform has led a lot of new ventures, and along with that psychology also intruded. So it's a relatively a new field. I don't call it as a very old field, it's a new field. And when and how we interact with the others using technology, or other way also to talk about how our behavior is influenced by technology. That's where the subject part of cyber psychology, because the way we interact, the way we connect with the technology, especially in the cyber space, we'll be discussing what is that cyberspace, as well as how our behavior is influenced by the technology, especially the internet part of it. So we'll be discussing. So to go much more precise, as Andrew J. Campbell, as he defined cyber psychology as an emerging field or relatively new field of study. The focus would be on ICT or information communication technology, and how ICT has got impact or influence on human behavior, not only for us, even at the societal level. That's more important. Where when this was when we are controlled by the technology, and how this technology can influence us, our behavior, not only at the individual level, on a bigger level, on the societal level. So that amounts to what you call cyber psychology. Individual level, we know what are happening with the cyberspace, but when it comes to societal areas, people are classified into three areas. One is how it is impacts our education, both positively and negatively. Then how it has got influence on employment part of it, and the third part is the health part of it. So when we talk about health part, basically though we divide into two sections, physical health and psychological health, today's talk will focus more on the psychological health, and the related factors. So when we talk about cyber psychology, today cyber psychology is also referred as internet psychology. Another name goes for it. Also, some people are referred as web psychology, and there's another word they use is digital psychology. So any one of the whether it's internet or web or digital psychology, all of them have got the same meaning. Like okay, how technology influences us and our behavior and how we interact with the technology, what makes us to be addicted. That is also more important. So, but whatever it may be, whether cyber psychology, you call it a cyber psychology, internet or web or digital psychology, it is nothing but you study psychology as a study of mind in the precise context of human computer interaction where we are using a digital device, and this digital device how it interacts, that's the subject part of our topic. So when we talk about cyber psychology, so basically it is a social communication which we refer to. And remember a cyberspace which has got lot of anonymity, and you must have seen what are the threats are happening with the cyberspace. And another psychology part of it, we have no inhibitions or some blockade or barriers while interacting in cyberspace compared to offline communication. In online communication, what's going to happen is there is no inhibition. So there is no behavioral inhibition which we experience in the real life or face to face situation, because we are interacting with the virtual world. So that is where we are having no issues at all. So the inhibitions could be very less, and that is technically called as behavioral inhibitions. So that means what in cyberspace we are what you call lose a control which is supposed to be there, which otherwise we show in real life or face to face situations. So that's where people go beyond their what you call limits in cyberspace. So that's what you call both advantages as well as disadvantages. Now when you talk about the disinhibition effect, because uh, when there is no inhibition, what you call there could be anonymity of cyberspace. Now, the positive aspect of it is the users who you do this, they can exhibit extraordinary acts of kindness or charity, because this is where the psychology part comes in, and that are felt inhibited from expressing in RL or in real life. Whatever is in the real life, when they found it difficult to exhibit the acts of kindness or charity as a positive thing, may be expressed what you call in the cyberspace than in the real life situation or face to face situation. So this could be the broad idea when you talk about the positive aspects of it. But what is the negative aspects of it? Because what happens, there is an anonymity and there's altered psychological environment. So what happens, this makes the individual to communicate more objectionable needs and desires onto others, to say what you call cyberbullying or cyber harassment, where sometimes the users are communicating more objectionable needs which can be threatful or harmful for the other person, and intruding to the other person's privacy. We call it as a what do you call cyber hacking or cyber stalking, where the person is constantly watched to virtual space, would act as what you call negative aspects of it. And sometimes at psychological wordings, the ventilation comes through a negative aspect rather than the positive aspects of cyberspace utilization. Then another interesting thing in what you call cyberspace is our persona or personality. This is quite interesting. People can alter, change, emphasize different aspects of their personalities or identities in cyberspace, which is not possible in real life. So they will change, they will modify, and now the true personality will come out, what you call, or identities come out, though in a hidden manner. there is a what you call the personality aspects of it. And many times because of this cyberspace, people have totally reinvented themselves. They found something better, what you call psychological space, better breathing time on virtual world rather than the real world. And because of this, the individuals showed different personae or personality. That's what the beauty of cyberspace. And one of the simple example I would like to give is the avatar. Today, what you call, we talk about movies, or today we talk about a movie avatar, but same thing can happen when we talk about avatar in what you call cyberspace. So one could be what you call the individual's engagement in the masquerade. Okay, so that's one part. Then the second part is getting into virtual costume. This is where something is very interesting, where a virtual costume is being designed by the individual, and the person turns into what you call portrayal by himself called as avatar. And but remember, this what you call masquerade or whatever it may be, it's a false show or a preference. So the cyberspace can be utilized for a false show or a false preference, as well as change into a virtual costume. So the virtual costume now referred as, technically referred as avatar. You may already seen movies, but remember what is the psychology behind that. That is more important. Why one need to what you call get into virtual costume? Why one need to what you call have a masquerade? Now, before getting into what you call more of cyberspacing and other details, one quite interesting study was done on students, and the responses which the students gave, which is really shocking. So, and what was the study was about? I'm just going to flash the slide. And the study was done throughout the world. That is more important. Now, when the students were asked a simple question on, if you were denied what you call 24 hours media, or exclusively 24 hours without a digital media, what happens to you, including boys and girls? So the college students are throughout the world were asked this question. Okay, if you want to skip, or if you are not going to use 24 hours digital media, what would be your reaction? The reactions, if you see on the screen, okay, just I'm going to highlight few of the things, quite shocking ones, because how that psychology works when there is no digital media. See the first response. One of the boys said, I sat in my bed and stared blankly and had nothing to do. The blankness or loneliness began. Then another response came, I began going crazy as if I have lost something. Another response, my anxiety took over me and I caved in. The person totally caved in. See the other responses. I felt like a drug addict. That means what? The addiction is too much. And along with that, the person suffered withdrawal symptoms and even unconsciously reached out for a calculator which is slightly shaped like my phone. Imagine the similarities. Because even our calculator looked like what you call the phone. So that much of aspect when they were denied 24 hours. Then another response, I felt like a strong compulsion as if certain devices were telling me to check my text and email, or go on Facebook. In psychology, we call it as a hallucination, where delusion, where a compulsion part has come and some devices are commanding, go and check, though the device was not there. See the another response, I felt dead. Without what you call the digital media, the person felt dead. And another person said, I felt like I was missing something. So there are several such aspects are there. I'm just going to highlight a few ones. See, one boy or girl referred, I hope that I never again have such a day in my life. That means what? It is like no body attachment, as if it is not there, they are going to lose something. Then another response is, I began to feel distress and despair from Mexico. Then I felt paralyzed. Imagine psychological paralysis, almost handicapped in my ability to live. Another person, emptiness overwhelmed me, loneliness, emptiness because of the absence of digital media. Then one boy or girl, what do you call, when from a country referred, my dependence on the media is absolutely sickening. They know about that, okay, it is sickening. They are not able to come out of it. Then another response, I felt like there was a problem with me. Now they started realizing, okay, fine, I don't, there is a problem in me, so I'm not able to, what you call, manage the things. Then, lastly, like just I want to summarize, my sense and I felt paralyzed. Imagine, though nothing happened, the person felt that his or her senses went numb, as if totally going blank, and the person felt paralyzed. So this is something what you call having problems where the senses went numb and the person felt paralyzed. Imagine the conditions of a student, not only in India, when it was analyzed throughout the world, and same thing can happen with our students. So that is the importance of cyber psychology today, where as teachers we have to take care of these things. Now we slowly get into the more details of the cyber psychology, the studying of it. So what is the aims of studying cyber psychology? Three main aspects of cyber psychology that generally encompasses the following. One thing is how we interact with others using technology. We interact, but how advancedly we interact with the others. Earlier it was manual interaction, now it's a digital interaction. So how do we do that? That is the aim of cyber psychology, basically the interaction, where we can think of human computer interaction too. Then the next part is the development of technology where it can best fit our requirements and desires. Now I'm slowly bringing aspects of human machine interaction, so called artificial intelligence, where today we are in that world where how the technology can best fit our requirements and desires. Then the most important thing is how we are affected by the technology, especially on a behavioral side and on a psychological side. As again I said, I'm not focusing much on physical health. We are going to focus more on what you call psychological health. Now come to the more details of them. So when you talk about cyber psychology, what the exam, how it examines different fields. Basically, it is a www or World Wide Web. Then the social media, a vast thing, all the applications, all the what you call the zones, gaming. This one, where how the social media influences. Gaming could be both online as well as offline. Need not be all the time online. It could be offline gaming also. Then mobile computing. That's for mostly on the what you call scientific grounds. Artificial intelligence. How what you call we make computers to or the machines to think like human beings and act accordingly. Virtual reality. All of you know. You create what you call uh, artificial environment and you want to enjoy in that environment. That's virtual reality, though it's not real. augmented reality, where the thing is you want to embed it or you want to superimpose the things which are there in front of you, which you augment the reality which is partly reality involved. We'll see one by one, but before that, let me give some statistics, what do you call, about smartphone boom in India. What is the, what do you call, uh, production part and usage part. So by Deloitte report, okay, a company which does did a research on this, it give a, what do you call, predicted figure of 1 billion smart users by 2026. Another 2 years, okay, there will be 1 billion or 100 crores of Indians are having smartphones, like where you got a screen and you can have a visual display. It is not a, what you call, plain phone. So maybe out of 140 crores, maybe 100 crores people will be accessing or going to use, what you call, smartphone. And imagine the usability and the requirement. Then India will be second largest smartphone manufacturer already, because under my Make India, what you call, scheme and all other schemes, lot of things are happening. But next 5 years, India will be the next, maybe next to China, will be the highest smartphone manufacturers. And 400 billion smartphones will be likely to be sold by 2026. I don't know how many crores now it would be. Uh, 400 into 100 crores of smartphones likely to be sold, because one thing is not only sold in India, even outside. And fortunately or unfortunately, many of the students or including our teachers, we use multiple Androids or multiple smartphones. I don't know the reasons. That's also quite questionable. And because sometimes people have got two mobile phones, three equipments, and the so usage will be quite more. Now, this is what you call a smartphone boom in India. A small statistics, but there's a quite interesting statistics. What kind of activities or the usage we do under phone? So this is what you call, it really attracted me. Why do we use phone? It's not very recent one, maybe 1 year back statistics. Look into this. So out of 100% who have surveyed, they said 79.5% of them use there as an alarm clock, because it's very precise, and if the power is there, yes, one can use it very neat and in a good manner. Then 87.8% of them felt uneasy leaving their phone at home. That means what? Suppose by chance we leave home without our mobile, and we have left our mobile at home, almost 9 out of 10 of them felt very uncomfortable, maybe for various reasons, which I need not quote those rules, what do you call, reasons why the uncomfortability came, because maybe for the privacy part or whatever it may be. The idea here is almost 9 out of 10 were uncomfortable or uneasy. That's where when they left the phone, and this could be more among students. Then more than half of the users, they used mobile or looked at their mobile while driving or riding. It's quite dangerous one when it's what you call 55.4 or more than 50%, or almost 6 out of 10 using mobile while driving or riding. And imagine the amount of threat you are inviting, and the threats because of your mobile usage for others. So the threat for both for the users and both people are what you call surrounding you. Then almost 3 out of 4 people consider themselves as addicts. That means what? Mobile is must, or the dependency was more on the mobile, and this was found to be 3 out of 4 or 75%. See the right side of the screen. 65 6 or almost 70% or 7 out of 10. On an average, they check the phone 160 times per day. We sleep okay in a our sleep work cycle. In a 24 hours, if we what you call keep 8 hours for sleep, remaining what you call 16 hours, and we have used 160 times, we have checked the phone on an average. Every hour we have checked the phone for 10 times, and imagine how much time is being wasted. And remember, this is just to check. And this may not be much in India. Almost 6 out of 10 use their phones on dates. Okay, that's why I don't want to highlight much. But inside the class now, something very interesting. Almost 7 out of 10 texted someone that is the same room as them, maybe from what do you call, from back bench to the front bench, or second bench to the fourth bench. Almost 6 to 7 out of the 10 students exchange the text. Then sometimes we joke mobiles will not allow us to even leave the toilet place. And surprisingly, 7 out of 10, or almost 73% of them, used mobile in the toilets. And another craze is upgrading the mobile, any brand. Now Apple i15 Max Pro, all that come. Samsung is a folded what you call mobile. So whenever the new brands are released, uh, on an average 6 out of 10 or 60% of them upgraded the mobile. Now imagine, because the phone usage is for this and the effects are this, how it can affect our psychology. So that's why we continue the next aspects of telepsychology. So when you talk about the telepsychology, okay, basically it's used in a positive sense, provision or giving psychological services using communication technology, especially uh, telecommunication technology. It's also called as a telemental health, e-therapy or electronic therapy, or sometimes the word is used as cyber therapy, email therapy, then CMI or computer mediated interventions, and online therapies. And these are interchangeable. Any all words are same for telepsychology. And it is not just online talk. It could be using video talk. It could be video conferencing. It could be what you call using different mobile devices, using internet. It could be self-help websites. It could be using blogs or social media, where the technology is used for what you call the health services, especially mental health services, where such broad a field of area is now referred as telepsychology. And why it is so important? Because remember, the mental health of the internet users or the cyberspace users can be highly affected. It can go to very much serious extremes, which I'll be going to show the later what you call with examples. And there could be a lot of addiction, which is behavioral part of it. Though the technology part is on the cyberspace, the mobile is a what you call physical instrument, but addiction to that instrument through the cyberspace is psychological. So definitely this calls for more investigation and more therapy aspects. And sometimes we get into misinformation, so-called WhatsApp universities. So much things could happen. So ultimately, one of the what you call important aim of cyber psychology is to empower or make us strong, to make the internet a safer and a better place, so that we can avoid a lot of negative things happening to us. It's not only that much the importance we are going to talk about. Okay, because of the internet today, it has affected our human behavior a lot. Lot of social relationship, including family relationship, have been big thing. There could be, because of the mobile issues, there is a what you call conflict between the parents and the children, where psychology works more, between the couples themselves, and between the siblings. All that can has happened. So telepsychology takes a major importance here. Then especially when you talk from the children's side. Remember, ADHD in children to cyberbullying. ADHD refers to as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, where the child is not able to complete a task. Before it completes a task, it moves to another job, but it will not complete that task. So it keeps on shuttling, and that's why the child lacks attention on a particular task. That's why it's called as attention deficit. And since the child moves on and on, so it's a hyperactivity. So this disorder is called as hyperactivity disorder. So, to cyberbullying as well as cyber stacking, where you'll be watched without your knowledge, you'll be stacked. Then addiction to surfing, though you don't want to do anything, but still you want to you see the mobile and start surfing on a Google or any other what do you call application. Could be social media like WhatsApp, other applications like Instagram or Facebook, Snapchat, and another menace is the Reels or the what do you call TikTok. Then stock trading, some people are crazy about this, where financial aspects have been discussed. Online shopping is another craze because the things which are offered on online, buy one get one free or 10% free, or the Amazon Prime days or whatever this one, each website will have their own what you call or Flipkart days. So what is going to happen? We are lured or psychologically what you call a kind of temptation would come. Though we don't want to buy, we buy them. Pornography is another one. Gaming and gambling both are dangerous. Now, every age group is facing cyberspace related psychological issues. It is not only the adults or young adults, even you can find this problem among children too. So, this is where one has to be careful. Then, what happens? Just to go back, because I want to add one more aspect here. Earlier, parents were what you call avoiding what you call mobiles from their children to their maximum extent. So sometimes they are miserably failed. But during pandemic, the parents started forcing their children to use mobile. Now this happened in a kind of addiction, and because earlier parents are blocking the child or avoiding the child to use the mobile, now because of the online classes, now they were forced to use mobile. But remember, the forcible usage of mobile not only led to only listening to the classes, and it led to other psychological problems. So, what are those psychological problems? Uh, I'll just discuss that psychological issues. The first part is screen addiction was happened with the children. It's not only just with the children, even elderly people have become addicted to screens and to avoid boredom. Nowadays, you see, even the elderly people, when they sit, the first thing is whether it's in the park or this one, if they have mobile, whether in the park or bus stand or railway station, anywhere, anyone, including elders, the moment they get few seconds, the thing is they start open the screen and see something is there. Then overdose of news on various platforms, like nowadays a lot of what you call websites have come, lot of news apps have come apart from the regular which comes on the TV channels, and we are addicted to them. Okay, and unfortunately we say it's these channels including TV channels, they highlight or they focus more on the negative side, just to just to create the sensation. Then the pandemic has changed the life of many, because as I said, people are facing problems in their marital life and other relationship because pandemic has blocked them to this one. Many people found it difficult to live together, which earlier they were what you call spending less time. Now suddenly it was forced them to time spent 24 hours 24 into 7, which it brought a problem, and many issues remained unsolved because absence of psychiatric treatment or their what you call lack of what you call psychological or psychiatric treatment because of the pandemic. Still problems are existing, and another important thing is many of them lost their jobs and depressed, because all these things are what you call happened because of the pandemic, which has got added effect on what you call telepsychology. Then This already I have discussed. Okay. Now the schools and colleges have become this one now resuming back. Earlier it was online. Now for workers who were working from the home, again they glued on to the what you call stick onto the screens, and the problem was uncertainty regarding the jobs. Now you see a lot of companies are what you call downsizing their workforce. It could be Amazon, it could be Twitter, or any of this one, and it has got more impact psychologically. Okay, and a lot of other negative things happened, but we'll discuss that one by one. Now, next aspect what we are going to discuss is what is this HCI or human computer interaction system, where it has what you call impacted both positively and negatively on our behavior. So we'll be discussing under four headings. One is fundamentals, second one is the systems, third one is the relationships, and fourth one is the applications. So when you talk about the what you call fundamentals, we have to really remember Kentall Norman, University of Iowa, is a pioneer in the what you call telepsychology and human-computer interaction. So now it is referred as Generation O. We say Generation First, Second. Now it's Generation O, where the beginning of the computers, very little human-computer interface was there when it started with the Generation Zero. Then Generation One started with the computer terminals with the teletype keyboards, where you have to instruct to the bigger keyboard. Users gave commands to the computer and the printout or display was the feedback. Now slowly the human computer interaction began to take shape. So generation 0 was the beginning. It was just beginning. Generation 1 was where you could take and slowly start interacting with the computer. Now generation 2 and furthermore, we are closer to where we are today. Computers become more user friendly. Human computer interaction began importance in designing our friendly GUIs. So many things happened, and generation 3 4s are also improved. And remember, when you talk about the history of computers, along with the computers, the digital technology also improved. Today, what you're talking about among the mobile devices too, especially with the Android or screens, we had a big what you call boom in the technology when it was in 2G. Later, it was upgraded to 3G. Until last 1 month or somewhere 3 4 months back, we were up to there in the 4G. Now we are in 5G. Now the next question is, where are we G? Now remember, this 5G with the advanced system can do so many things, and there is a big threat for the computing and for what you call the workforce, including teaching jobs, which I'll discuss eventually. The more G's would come, then the teaching importance would go down, because virtual classrooms would begin. And when the virtual classrooms would begin, there will be in the future, I am predicting, there may not be what you call bigger institutions. It could be all what you call virtual classrooms, virtual teacher, and everything will be a pre-recorded talk, and everything will be online. So there is a threat of jobs for all. So that's another thing. So this is a brief history along with the computers. I'm talking about the mobile technology too. Then the fundamentals of human computer interaction. Okay. Now today we know each and every bit of computers than humans. That's the idea, because that is why the what you call the advancement has come in the processors. A lot of things are advanced. Where only thing is though the speed part of it. Okay. Nothing can match human mind anyway. But today, each bit and bit, chip by chip, we know about the this one computers than humans, because human behavior is a much complicated one. Remember, human behavior has been studied a longer duration since the ages. Even the human genome sequence has been done, but nothing is as much known as what you call computers. Now, what's the basic difference? Human beings can easily change themselves where computers don't, because it works on instructions, whereas we work on what you call rationality. Then what is the similarity? Both, whether it's human beings or computers, they must interpret the information that others one gives them correctly. It's basically processing and interpreting the information. whether it's to the computer or whether it's to the human brain. This is where one has to be very careful. Then how it influences? When you talk about the influences, it's the sensory motor interface. This is where neural networking begins, where how vision is embedded, how audition is embedded, how the what you call touch part of it, and the sense of proprioception or the sense of bodily perception. This is where we talk about sensory motor interface. And are we trying to bring in artificial intelligence through neural networking? That's the next question. So what happens next? You just look into this. There's a system's visual perception. Now, are we making our computer to recognize the shape, interpret the depth, sense the motion, and maintaining the consistencies? That's what is being done. We are trying to put human brain into a machine. That's why the Tesla electric cars are coming. I don't know when they're coming to India, where the driverless cars are coming. Now imagine the invention where a driver is not required. You can just put all the sensors. You can just feed the GPS, provide the GS map, and instruct the car to move on with all the sensors. It can avoid accidents. It can go precisely to the place you want. So the visual perception, are you going to put into a machine where recognizing shape, interpreting the depth, sensing motion, as well as maintaining the consistencies? It will happen in the future. That's what is the prediction is. Then how it happens? Because we organize figures in the foreground and everything else in the background. So some picture is in the front and back. Because of the background thing, we try to interpret. Same thing happens on your desktop, because the desktop on your screens takes advantage of this principle, having icons on the desktop as a foreground with the rest as a screen or the blank screen or the this one. If you see the white or the color whichever you are chosen, then it is the icons will act as the foreground and the background is the screen, which acts as the anything apart from the icons will be as a background. So you get to know what it is. And this has happened in the human perception, with the same thing is transferred to the screen. Then sometimes it's ambiguous or hierarchical layouts depending upon your or this one, you can manage. Then there's a visual perception of what form and closure. Now if you see this one, though it looks like three different vertical cut balls in a specific angle, our perception would be, if you see clearly, we feel a continuity, and we feel that there is a triangle. I don't know how many of you are feeling that. So you can see a triangle here. So this the idea of triangle is not actually, triangle is not seen, but if you see these small rounds which has been cut on a specific edges, but the overall perception gives us that it's a triangle. And this technology or this kind of uh, perception is being used for computers, which is transferred from human perception to the machine perception. Then there is a what you call what you call perception of closure, or this one. Though if you are seen in the second picture, there are breaks, but still we consider as a square or a rectangle. Why? Because the our what you call our eye has a what you call our vision system has a what you call a mechanism to close that and look it as a what you call a continued aspect. Likewise, there's a continuity, though it is just two lines, we feel that it's continuing. So whatever it may be, the visual perception and all these principles have been applied to computers. Then next is system versus visual perception. Okay, the principles of proximity and similarity, because these are important in how we perceive and organize our desktops, or how we create the layouts and web pages. Maybe we may not create the web pages, but remember how we perceive. So that is why you can change the icons. That's what we do. We change the different styles, but it gives us lot of principles of proximity and similarity. And how do we perceive? So your desktop could be like this. And remember, it can even, this is our talking about all the time about the perception. Now I'm going slowly moving on to the relationships. Now, our emotions happen at the human computer interface. This is what you call cyber and psychology, where how human computer interface influence. So email, that's one of the simple thing what you call, where by email there could be good news, there could be bad news, where the communication comes through a technology part, email or any message. Gaming is another important part where our emotions are controlled. When you talk about the computer games, the problem is, if I think at your age group maybe people are more bothered about the Candy Crush game, always talking about what is the level. So getting a high score and to reach a next level where computer games, and we feel happy about it. The more we reach the what you call, more we reach a higher level, next day we discuss with our colleagues or friends, oh my level is this much, I've reached this score. It could be car racing, it could be Candy Crush, it could be Temple Run. On the higher side it could be a PUBG game or BGMI. So the gaming makes the person to what you call, if you achieve something, the emotions would be favorable or happiness, and if you don't achieve there could be negative negative emotions like sadness or even frustration. Online media, the one important thing today, people are addicted, and millions of people are using, billions of people are using online media for various reasons, either for entertainment, or sometimes people get disgusted with the usage of online media. When they're through their what they call apparatus, many times they get frustrated. So online media has a lot of impact. We'll be discussing what you call more under how it influences our students. Then successes or failures at work also determined by the human computer interface. Now this is where our emotions play, or emotional experiences which can happen at the human computer interface. It could be more like, suppose you sent a message and waiting for a reply can increase your anxiety. And if you get a negative reply, you might feel bad, you might get frustrated. And if you get a positive reply, you might get happy. So the idea would be what, our emotions has got what you call, uh, connected to the human computer interface. Earlier it was not, because when the computers were not there, when there is what you call, Android mobiles or smart screens were not there, this kind of things were not there. But after the what you call advancement of technology, especially in the mobile and the smartphone technology, these things are happening. Something more interesting I want to tell you, like our relationships. So earlier there is no way to express our emotions through online. But today, if you have seen emoticons or emojis, whether it could be on WhatsApp or whether it could be in a regular message, we start expressing our emotions without texting. I think you do this. So expressing our emotions has made it simple. We express our emotions. How we do that? We do online, which was not there earlier. We start using smileys in chats, emails, and online forums, and in no time the receiver will get whether you're happy or whether you're unhappy or whether you're neutral. Though our emotions can be easily what you call expressed there, where technology is being used. Then mood descriptions in blogs can be monitored and evaluated because you can easily make out. So sad mood shot up after terrorist attacks in London in 2005, one of the examples. Now what happens when the sad mood increases, especially whether it's now in what you call Israel and Palestine war, or Russia and Ukraine war, where imagine what can happen, how many emojis can be used for this. Now whenever you use a computer or a mobile, our behavior can be assessed through our mood. So, and this is a very routine part we must have done. Sometimes it goes unknowingly, you send the emojis or emoticons in various, there are thousands of emojis are there in different forms. But it has made what you call easy to express our emotions. And not only that, along with that, what I want to tell you is, today we are in the age of sticker. Now what is the sticker? Now when you talk about the stickers, you must have seen in Apple and all, Apple iPhones and all, it is not only just emojis. One can use the stickers where a small what you call video in a small form, which can give a sadness, happiness, love, anything, where you can just thumb press that, and it will be there on the what you call mobile of the person who is receiving it, and in no time the emotion has been expressed, and where we are using human computer interface. Now, if that thing is there, now remember how that what you call things can go further. Now, when you talk about human computer interaction, remember it can be related to even computer related disorders, which usually what you call referred to as computer disorders, where our mental health is affected. So one of the what you call important part is the anxiety disorders. Now, when you talk about the anxiety part, the technological environments may be a source of anxiety. Why? Because as we know, anxiety is nothing but one of the what you call a psychopathological indication. Too much of anxiety leads to anxiety disorders. Now, when you talk about technological environment, remember your own student inside the class, and whenever some and the what you call whenever a call comes and is mobile is on a vibrate mode, imagine the anxiety which the student suffers. It can happen with us too. Or going to back to classrooms, my common observation nowadays is maybe the same observation with you also. The common observation nowadays is, earlier it used to be when the class time is over, people used to rush to the next class or next room or wherever their designated room. Nowadays they don't immediately rush to the class. The moment the class is over, the first thing is they open up the bag, check for mobiles. That's the thing. Check for any new messages or any missed calls or any what you call uh, request, Facebook or Instagram request, like request to become a friend or what this one friend request. Now that attracts more for them than the next class. So that calls for some what you call serious research on them. Okay, which can bring anxiety disorders, or sometimes they may be waiting for a reply which has not come yet. This can be more anxietful. Then there could be OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. Now this is what you call one of the important thing where because expecting the lot of expectation, the person would turn to the software or what you call mobile, checking repeatedly, and not only checking repeatedly for the what you call mobile, even repeatedly checking software and updating software. Why? Because any of the information comes, the person doesn't want to lose it. Because if the version is previous version or earlier versions, the person might think that okay, he's not getting the advanced version. So if WhatsApp is old, whenever the new notification comes, upgrade WhatsApp. The next thing is immediately the person, though it's late, getting late to the class, but the first job is to upgrade the WhatsApp. So this can happen, and saving the mails and repeatedly what you call filing the files. It amounts to OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. So that's the idea there. Then there could be mood disorders. It's a serious one. Okay. Whenever a person feels low or frustrated, or when the person feels so-called depressed, or the person under grief, the person can turn to the internet. That is a more dangerous thing because that can lead to addiction, and go for unhealthy sites about things like suicide, how to commit suicide, and maybe the stories regarding suicide. So, what is the best way to commit suicide? Where the person might get into that and he may try that also. So the mood disorders can be one of the serious threats for the people who are using what you call digital technology too much. That's where the human computer interface works. Then the more we talk about it, okay, the importance of it, okay, when you talk about that, there's a craving for what you call the activity all the time. Okay, now one thing is the time is wasted, and when the time is wasted, the simple thing is the person is not able to do the job on time. This will lead to procrastination. Once there is a procrastination, the uncompleted task itself will bring lot of stress. So there will be multiple issues now. It is one thing is the job is not done. Then there is there is a procrastination. In between there is a attraction by the mobile or the device. So it can take a person's thoughts. Okay. Uh, and another thing, even when there is no mobile, people can think over it. So though the students are maybe attending to your class, their mind could be there. Who is sending message? What kind of message? Whether I'm getting a reply, whether I'm successful in getting a friendly request, all those things can happen. Or who is online, who is offline? All these thought process can get into the student's mind, and then the student's interest will be lost in the class. Though he may be physically present, mentally there could be a lot of absence. Then there could be a mood modification. Okay, as we see in the previously how the students what you call said, if there is no digital device for 24 hours, what happens? Same thing can happen here also. Feeling of numbness, that is one important. The person feels blank and nothing is working, no body part is moving. Then escape when engaged in the activity, where escapism, because you give reasons, you give what you call reasons which are very silly in nature, can happen. Then tolerance. What's the meaning of this? To satisfy persons craving, excessive amounts of time are required to do the activity. Now there is a more time spent on what you call on flat online platform. Now imagine the threats of it. And if it's more, then the person develops a tolerance like alcohol or any other things, because it requires more and more. In alcoholic addiction also, whatever the initial dosage is not enough. As the person goes days on or weeks on or months on, the person requires higher levels of dosage or pegs. The same thing happens, higher levels of timings in the tolerance part of it. Then withdrawal symptoms, when something is absent, the person feels totally restless, like exactly what happens in the addiction process. Then the conflict, when you talk about conflicts, it could be intrapersonal as well as interpersonal conflict within oneself and conflict with the others. Now anything can happen, and this will lead to the disturbed mind or disturbed psyche. And remember, more disturbed psyche leads to stress, so there will be added dimension of illness. So once there's an added dimension of illness, the person finds it difficult. And why this has come? Because of excessive use of the computer or the digital technology. Then there could be high relapse, though people just throw the mobile, okay, I don't want to use. But there could be high relapse, where there is a tendency there's a tendency for a person to slip back into addiction. Exactly, like, because I don't know whether I'm going to explain that that's how our brain works. Remember, when you talk about the what you call why people are addicted, because to the mobile or something, it happens exactly like addiction to drugs or alcohol. There is a recoiling or restructuring of the brain, so that the brain parts themselves have been what you call, they crave for this what you call messages or the part of it. Then what happens is there's a recoiling or rewiring of the brain. There'll be structural changes in the brain. Now this will not allow the person to get out of it. So that's where the addiction part comes, and that's why there could be a relapse. uh, Something interesting I want to show you. When you talk about the student part, let me show a few of the slides, how students are, or their what you call minds are attracted. So nowadays the students are into selfies and groupies. Audience there, who are looking into this selfie, can you give me the meaning of this picture? Anyone there? Teacher participants are there. Can you give me the meaning, any one of, or any two three of you? What is the psychology
Mm,
picture? Yes.
they want to show they are having fun.
Is it only fun? Any other answers?
Enjoying the situations.
They're enjoying the situation. Okay. Who is on the line? Saida Maman, madam. Okay. Any other responses?
They show they are the single group. They are the one group.
Sir, this is okay. I still agree with you. They are the one group, but something more about it.
They are very close to each other, and they want to show that they are having similar characters likewise.
Are we? Have you seen the all of the participants?
Sir,
Have you seen
expressing their feelings and happiness.
Saida madam, I agree with you, but can you have a deeper look into the picture?
They are in the field of fantasy.
Vani madam, okay, I'm seeing you on the screen. Okay, something
And,
more, madam, on the psychological side.
yeah, because they think that nobody can block them from such a kind of enjoyment.
Dr. Chaya madam is there, I think, madam, because can you give your opinion on this? I'll explain this anyway. Chandragowda sir, I don't know whether they're online.
They're trying to imitate some animals.
Okay. They're trying to imitate some animals. Okay, you are coming little more of psychology. Okay, Chandragowda sir, I think you came, said hello and went. Okay, Chandragowda sir, what it means? Prakash sir, okay.
They are teasing, sir.
They are teasing. Okay, I think you are little hesitant to tell what exactly it is. I will have the answer. Being a psychologist, I don't know how much you observed the picture. All the tongues protruded. Have you seen that?
They're acting like dogs.
Madam, I'll come to that. Okay, I'm not telling they're dogs. Okay, in psychology, protruding the tongue and acting like this indicates a kind of mental retardation, where you can see the small children with the mental retardation, they don't have control over their tongues. That's why the tongues are drooped or they come out. I don't know whether this younger generation want to show what kind of people we are. And is it a kind of enjoyment? I don't know. You have to think about it. And you may have your own students like this. They might do it for a fun. But what they want to show for us, that is more important. I can clearly see some kind of psychopathology in that. See the next picture. Any comments?
They're looking like some mental disorder.
Exactly,
People
but they're
only.
not mentally retarded or they don't have mental disorder. But the way they're exposing like a psycho movie, see the expressions of them.
Yes.
Now, what this younger generation want to tell us? You have to be knowing about it. Definitely, they require some kind of psycho education. It is, are they showing their inner personality?
They
Whether
make others mad, sir.
I don't know whether they make themselves or they make others mad. I'll show more pictures. Now see, there's one picture on the top, and there I've cut down into several pieces the same picture. Each picture in one picture showing different expressions. Are you looking into that?
No, sir. Device gives them extreme freedom to express themselves.
Yeah, but what is this expression meaning for us?
So,
That is more important.
Sir,
As
they
I
are
think,
mentally
sir,
disturbed, sir, internally.
that's what you told earlier. The inhibitions which you can't express naturally can be expressed through this kind of gadgets.
whether that is there in their unconscious mind.
Yeah,
That
yes,
is
sir.
what.
Yes,
It
it
must be
is
there.
there, sir.
Now
It is
remember,
coming back.
the same thing is there with our students.
Yes, sir.
And how the cyber psychology we have to plan, whether are we are reaching the right group of students or the diverted or digitally diverted students. So this is where what you call the things one has to think of. This is much.
Their extremism is to be controlled, sir.
Go to the next. See now. Any comments from the audience?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
somehow they wanted to be highlighted like on the screen or Facebook or Instagram. They are just having this thing in mind,
Oh, that means
not
one
aware
thing I
about
can,
doing
one
action.
thing,
Attention
two
seeking.
things, yes, two things I definitely agree with you, madam. One thing is attention seeking. Yes, because they may have a lot of inferiority complex, and the cyberspace can be
Hello, madam.
cyberspace can be used as what you call a kind of
ಅಲ್ಲ
what you
ನಾನು
call
ಖಾಲಿ ಹುದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ,
ventilation.
ನಾನು ಅದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ. ಖಾಲಿ ಹುದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಈಗ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದ?
Somebody is online, madam.
ಯಾವಾಗ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು? ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು? 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮುಂಚೆ.
Uh,
ಹೌದಾ? 5
somebody is
ನಿಮಿಷ
online.
ಮುಂಚೆ ನೋಡಿದೆ, ಮೇಲ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Vani madam, Vani madam.
ನಮ್ದು
Okay.
ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ವಿರಾಜಪೇಟೆ.
Vani
Vani madam,
ma'am.
mute yours.
ಓಕೆ.
Vani madam, mute please. Okay, come back to the picture. Okay, one is what you call they want to seek the attention. That means there is some inferiority complex is there, but much more than sir or whom are commenting on the audience side. Is there something more? Is there unconsciously they want to convey something for us?
ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಸಾಕು. ಇದು ಏನೋ ಮೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದಂತೆ, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳು.
Vani madam, please mute yourself.
They are homogeneously close,
Yes,
very
audience back.
close. Sir, they are
Sir, what is the meaning of
homogeneously
it?
very
What's the meaning of it?
Sir,
What is the meaning of it?
no, sir, homogeneously they are very close.
Yes, sir, you have gave a clue to already to the entire audience.
Lesbian indication is there, sir.
Okay, are they LGBT supporters? The next question is,
Maybe, sir. Exactly.
are these
looks
people
like.
are moving away from the normal sexuality process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So again, there is a need. There is a need to educate them. That's where I highlight the importance. It looks like very strange picture for me, and as a psychologist, I have a lot of corrections for them. Now, this is where, and the last one, I don't know how much it plays. I'm going to play a video. Just watch it. There is some problem with the video player. Okay. Video is not playing properly, but anyway, we'll wait for another few seconds. I think there is a problem with the video. It has not created. Okay. Anyway, I'll stop this the video part of it. Remember, actually, there was a 4 videos were there. One is the shoe change and the dress change. Within few seconds or within 30 seconds, she changes 6 times her dress and 6 times her shoes, and that will be shown. And there is the kicking the screen, again this girl, and there is a dance, what you call, from TikTok or the using reels. And what I was bothered much about, because this we couldn't make it very clear, like how much time is being spent on these reels or TikTok or anything. And we must have seen our own students in the corridors or near the by parks or in anywhere, when they get time they go for reels, and they ended up with a lot of problems. This is where we have to really, what you call, think of the times which they have wasted over this. So this is where it has ended up in negative aspects also. So we'll stop for a while now, because I think it's already time for break, and again we'll rejoin at 3:45, focusing
Okay,
more
sir.
on cyber psychology and mental health. Definitely I'll give you some time at the end for a discussion, or if at all, if you have got a quick question, you can ask.
We will ask questions at the end of the session.
Okay, okay, now we'll have a break. I think it's a 3:20. It's supposed to give a break at 3:15. So we'll have rejoin at 3:45.